welcome to today's film fest.
This is a story about the raising of a totem pole, going into detail about how they had once had their cultural significance erased by colonizers years before.
Making a statement about the necessity of reclaiming culture.
I was so naive on the idea. It was all new. I asked Nani, were there any totem poles raised in the village in her lifetime? And she said no. And she was born in 1895.
Today, there are few carvers. This boy may be one of the last.
I saw the old totem poles at the museums, and I saw them in photographs, and I'd come home and there was nothing.
This village here, right from the way down this end of the town, right through here, totem poles. A lot of it in my time. And up in the other village the same way. Missionary says, if they don't get rid of these totem poles, you never go to heaven. That's what the minister told the Indians. So they want all the Indians get together, cut all the totem poles down and burn them up. Cut them all down, cut them in about 4-foot lengths, something you can lift. And cut them all up and split them and make big fire and burn them. I used to help too, you know. I want to go to heaven.
Our children heard the song before they were born. Haida singing. I didn't hear any Haida songs until I was 16.
Gysyn tlege eid lyngal. Gymslynad dang slwa. Sylgan gwrt sling ista lyngal. Al tula sangwa.
I would go and visit the elders, and they seemed really kind of not connecting to anything. And I could feel the sadness, and I wanted to create an occasion for them to celebrate one more time. That was the moment I committed to carving the totem pole. After I made the commitment to carve the pole, I had no idea on what was involved. And I remember getting a phone call from my dad. He said, I found a log for you. I said, oh yeah, right, I need a log. And I remember not even wanting to look at the log. I was so terrified. And I said, holy shit, when I saw the log. I didn't know how to work on that scale. I was only carving argillite totem poles then.
Think of how bland it would be if we didn't know how to dance, if we didn't know how to sing, if we didn't know how to carve poles. We need those kinds of things in our life, and they're gifts to everybody.
On one of my trips back home, I knocked on every door in the village in Masset to see if there was anything left from the classical period, see if anybody had anything. And that's when I found one storage box. When I saw it, I was just blown away by it. And I took it home and I put it beside my bed and slept with it. I was so taken by it, by having this one object that survived this whole dark period.
Oh, you're still carving, Robert?
There was really a void, but I didn't realize the scale of that void.
When I learned to carve, I just learned from Robert. He made it easier. He visited all the elders. They taught him the songs and dances. He taught us. He offered me $15 a day. I mean, I was 14 years old. That's a lot of money, right? Working on the pole was a pretty amazing experience for me just because it's all new to me. It's grasping to learn of our culture. These are raven rattles. I had a dream about raven rattle. And we use them in our raven dance and they just move.
Spirit of gossip. Gagita is a supernatural being. Chinny talked about Gagita as a person whose spirit is too strong to die. I like to equate our spirit as being too strong to die, and that's why we're still here. There was a couple of people that were saying, why do you want to bring those old things back? That really just came from pain, the pain that they went through. I mean, I cried when I heard that, but it didn't stop us. And those same people were there celebrating with us.
The village is made up of two clans, Eagle and Raven. To do this, traditionally, either an Eagle clan has the pole raising or a Raven clan. I wanted the whole village to get involved, and the only way to have that is to have both clans working together.
Old Masset, it's just like a beehive. Everybody from the different clans has their work to do, like the old days.
I remember being one of the pullers on the rope, and Chinny was there guiding us. He said, Robert, that totem pole doesn't belong to you anymore, it belongs to them. So I stepped back. There was a construction crew there, and they had a crane, and they offered to raise the pole with their crane, and I mentioned it in one of the meetings, and they said, no, we're going to do it the old way. I didn't realize how much ceremony was connected to the art until that moment. My grandparents and their generation coming together, and they all told stories, and from those stories that became the recipe for the pole raising.
Before anything starts, we shall now call on Reverend
Uncle Victor said, Robert, Chinny wants to talk with you. So Chinny said, you have to get the tools now and start the ceremony. When I was chanting, I was in a different realm. And it also marked the completion of the poem.
all the eagles and the ravens. You can have eagles on one side and you can have the ravens on the other.
He's gonna flap one way. No.
I felt really good. I just thought, every time they raised the pole, say about another 6 inches to a foot, and then they braced it. I thought it was just going to come back down and just fall.
I think it was a good thing. I think it's one of the highlights in my life. And yet the sorrow and knowing that possibly it's gone for good. We're trying to pick up something and hold on to it, but there's maybe not enough to hold on to.
It was ground zero. It couldn't have been timed any better. Some of the old people showed up. There was Chinny, he had a toy drum, and some of the old people showed up with paper hit pieces. When I talk about ground zero, it couldn't go any lower because of the laws that governed us, the muting our will to participate in ceremony, participate in our song and dance. The very thing that fills the spirit.
3 generations, and they could work together and make it happen. We're so lucky. That they were there. The pole was important because it was a deliberate action. It was deliberate bringing back that part of our life. The carvers at home, sitting and carving the argillite. It was watching my great-grandmother put old blankets on the windows so that people couldn't see in, and they'd sing the old songs and play the drum. All of that, not just the pole.
I didn't think of it as a start of something. I just saw it as a celebration for the old people. I was just a young, smart aleck kid thinking I was going to teach elders something. But it turned around. It was the other way around.
Experiencing Indigenous art is one of the many wonders to explore in Canada.
This film goes into depth about the importance of art to Indigenous people and how it's meant to represent something meaningful.
If you want to travel through Indigenous country, experience the art. Whether it's a painting, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's a song, every piece is the embodiment of a story. The art is the land and the land is the art. This is how we share our stories.
I think about my grandfather and father, or everything they had to make. Well, that's who we are, right? We do it every day. We're just connected to the land because that's how our ancestors were, and that's where we came from.
It's because we've been making this work for, thousands of years. You experience our heritage, you experience our culture, you're experiencing how we look at life.
In Quebec, there's 55 communities, 11 nations, all with distinct practices, languages, and relationship to the land. So to be Indigenous is not one thing.
I just wanted to connect back. So I'll bead things that my grandmother would tell me. I bead a lot of, sacred teachings into those sculptures, legends. Yeah, there's a lot of stories in there.
I think about the younger generation, and we don't want to lose our culture, our identity. Stories need to be told, and if one can pick it up, then the culture lives.
That's traveling. Experiencing the people, experiencing the stories, experiencing the land, connecting.
This video talks about the art of Indigenous people. It talks about why they want their art to be recognized and seen by others. They wanted to bring a new form of art to Canada and to let their story be told.
It was a vision that started with Daphne Ojic. She had an art place, and we used to say, wouldn't it be nice if we all got together to talk art and see what each one of us was doing? We all had the same goals. We wanted our art to be recognized, and we wanted to be treated fairly. So we set out to change the art world in Canada. We weren't welcome, but we just kept going. The paintings started to speak for us. We stuck together, and we gradually broke down barriers that probably would have been so much more difficult faced alone. We could stand together and ensure that future generations of Native people would have opportunities to succeed with respect and dignity in an art world that largely viewed Native arts as specimens in anthropology museums. Our story is a real Canadian story. It comes from here, by the people here, and it's about here. I welcome all of you to take a good look and be proud.
The Professional Native Indian Artists Incorporated confronted long-standing prejudices against Indigenous art head-on. Together, they broadened national awareness and appreciation of contemporary Indigenous art in Canada.
This film is about an Indigenous storyteller talking about the importance of eagle feathers in their culture.
Rather than simply killing the eagle, they must earn the right to wear every feather.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Retaskett, and I come from the Bonaparte Indian Band of the Shuswap Nation. Right now, I am carrying 438 eagle feathers, and I didn't just go out and take an eagle's life, kill an eagle, in order to have this. I had to earn the right to carry these feathers by going into the mountains for 4 days and 4 nights without food or water. And during that time, I prayed for the healing of the universe, for the healing of the air and the water, Mother Earth and Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun. And when I came out after those 4 days, that was my Uncle Bo that passed these beautiful eagle feathers down to me. So I've been carrying these feathers for 28 years. And what came to me while I was out on the land was each one of those barbs represent one of our ancestors. By carrying these feathers right now, I am carrying a tremendous amount of responsibility of remembering our ancestors, of taking care of our ancestors, of looking after our ancestors. Because without them, none of us would be here.